In the 1940s, a young jazz prodigy electrified audiences across America. A boy whose tiny hands flew across the piano, even using his fists and elbows to play. His name? Sugar Chile Robinson. But, despite the spotlight, he slowly faded from public memory. Why? Today, we explore his remarkable life story and the harsh realities jazz musicians often face. Born in 1938 in Detroit as Frank Isaac Robinson, he could recite the alphabet at 6 months, read books by 3, and play the piano while singing the blues by the age of 2. The music world called him a miracle. His style wasn't just technical, it was wild and joyful. He pounded the piano with fists and elbows full of rhythm and showmanship. No one had ever seen anything like it. He even appeared in the Hollywood film No Leave, No Love and shared the stage with legends like Billie Holiday, Lionel Hampton, and Count Basie. At the time, he earned an astonishing $10,000 a week, equivalent to tens of thousands of dollars today. He played for President Truman at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, shouting, "How am I doing, Mr. President?" mid-performance. He was the first black performer to play on that stage. By year's end, he earned $36,000 in a single week at Chicago's Regal Theater, a record that even Count Basie and Duke Ellington didn't reach. People believed he would grow into the next Art Tatum or Duke Ellington. But in 1959, he made a surprising decision. He walked away from music. "I just wanted a normal life. I wanted to go to school and go to college." He studied history at Olivet College, then psychology at the Detroit Institute of Technology. He later worked for WGPR-TV, ran his own recording studio and labels. Lando, Lendo, and AutoCap supported local musicians in Detroit and helped out at his family's store during quieter years. But the music industry was evolving rapidly. Art Tatum had become a legend. Herbie Hancock was redefining jazz with fusion and electronic elements, and his fellow Detroiter, Stevie Wonder, had become a global icon. Sugar Chile's beloved boogie-woogie style, however, was falling out of fashion. His cheerful, rhythmic energy no longer aligned with modern tastes, and his name slowly faded from memory. Performance invitations dwindled, and the spotlight no longer shined his way. As the years went by, Sugar Chile quietly stepped out of the spotlight, living a modest life in the shadows of his past. Then, in his 70s, tragedy struck. His home in Detroit burned down. His home and decades of memories vanished in the flames within moments. But he wasn't forgotten. Fans and jazz lovers launched a fundraiser in his honor. He brought us joy through music. Sugar, we never forgot you. Donations poured in and Sugar Chile began to rebuild. He returned to small jazz festivals and appeared in radio interviews and documentaries sharing his story. In 2007, he was met with wild applause at England's Rhythm Riot. At the Detroit Jazz Festival, he played a two-part show, That Was Then, with classic boogie-woogie, and This Is Now, with a gospel choir. Though the venues were modest, his music remained warm and alive. "I didn't play music to be a star. Music, it was just inside me." In 2016, Sugar Chile returned to the White House, this time welcomed by President Obama. 70 years had passed since he first played for President Truman, and now he walked those halls once more, as a guest of honor. A quiet moment of honor and reflection. In his tuxedo, he stepped into the grand halls where history echoed. The applause may have faded, but his legacy was still remembered. He was never a superstar. His name isn't in the textbooks like Art Tatum or Herbie Hancock. But he lived a life he chose, never abandoning music, and connected with people in his own way. He wasn't a former child prodigy. He was a living story of love for music. He may have been out of the spotlight, but he still lived in the hearts of many. I wasn't just a prodigy, I was just me. Not everyone becomes a legend, but even the quietest life can shine, not in headlines, but in hearts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story.